the show, FS1 NBA analyst Sarah KUSTOK joins us. Good morning,
guys. Great to see you. Good to see you, Nick. Jenna.
Good to have you here.
Welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
Sarah, say what you will about the Lakers, but despite all their dysfunction, they have managed to land two of the top talents in the game. LeBron last season and Anthony Davis in the last 48 hours. It is finally done. AD heads to LA, and in exchange, the Pelicans get Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, and a plethora of first-round draft picks, including that number 4 this year. All right, Sarah, what'd you make of the deal?
I like it. When it first broke, it was something that we had been anticipating, waiting on, what it was going to look like, how it was going to happen.
But we're still not sure, because don't leave it up to the Lakers to get everything done.
Right.
Well, let's hope so. If they don't get it done at this point, I would be concerned. But the way it's laid out and when, in fact, it can go through, I think it's tremendous for both sides. What did the Lakers want? They wanted Anthony Davis. They needed another superstar next to LeBron James, and they got that. They apparently really wanted to keep Kyle Kuzma. So for that fact, you think that was probably the one straw that they were able to keep. And then David Griffin and the New Orleans Pelicans have bucket loads of assets and players now. And they did, I think, as good as they could have done in what they would get back. And of course, they didn't want to give up Anthony Davis. But both teams, you saw, to me, the entire time we were watching this, it was always a question of who really has the leverage. Because you know Anthony Davis clearly does not want to be in New Orleans. You know he's going to leave. You know where he wants to go. So even though David Griffin wanted to put out, we're going to negotiate with other teams, we're talking and listening to calls, Rich Paul and Anthony Davis made it clear where he ultimately wanted to be. So are you willing to give up so much and mortgage your future for a potential one-year deal with Anthony Davis? The Lakers were the one team that knew that he would stay. So therefore, with the Lakers side of things, they had to give all of that up, but ultimately they got what they wanted in the end.
When the Lakers went into this either unintentional or intentional tanking mode from the previous few seasons, if you'd have told them on the other side of it, you're getting Anthony Davis. That's the end result. 5 years of just bottoming out. What you're going to walk away with is Anthony Davis. They said, worth it. Totally worth it. And after 5 years of tanking, unintentionally in the beginning, pseudo-intentionally as of late, and then last year, obviously, they didn't mean to tank at all, they got Anthony Davis. We know the names. There's 7 guys in the league that individually are difference makers. LeBron, KD, Harden, Steph, Giannis, Anthony Davis, Kawhi. No particular order, just how they came to me. Those are the 7 guys. There's a whole nother list of all-stars, fringe superstars, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, maybe, or at least he was. But those 7 guys are the 7 invaluable assets in basketball. They do not become available via trade. They become available via free agency. 2 of them in the last year have now come available via trade. One because disgruntled with the team because of medical issues. The other disgruntled with the team due to incompetence. And so for the Lakers to be able to get one of those and sign the other one through free agency the year before, it's an A+. You can now, what is a championship worth? It's the question. Because you went from, could the Lakers make the Western Conference Finals based on the power of LeBron James in year what, C?
17.
Year 17. 2, how big a favorite should the Lakers be to win the NBA Finals? That's what this trade does for you.
It's a great deal for the Lakers, and I'm so glad they kept Kuzma. So we have to get congratulations to Rob Pelinka, because you talk about the dysfunction. Man, most of my friends, my family, man, we were raised in dysfunction, and we learned how to function at a high level in dysfunction. But this changes the franchise. This gives Rob Pelinka an opportunity to be able to resurrect whatever we've thought about him and Magic Johnson, Jenny Buss, and everything else that was going on, the Ramby family and everything. This is the most solid move that they've made in the last couple years, given what we've seen the last 2 months coming out of Los Angeles. It's a deal that they had to make, and you can't pay too much for something we just had the golf tournament on Fox at Pebble Beach. How much would you pay for Pebble Beach? It's the only strip of land in the world just like that. Well, let me tell you something. The unibrow. We've seen a lot of unibrows, but not basketball playing unibrows. All right? So you have to be able to pay that price to get a player like AD.
And a lot of people are comparing this to the Boston Celtics Brooklyn Nets trade back in 2013, which I lived through. And I will say, to me, aside from the picks, aside from the first-round picks that were traded, it's entirely different because you were looking at a Kevin Garnett and a Paul Pierce that were towards the end of their careers. You are getting Anthony Davis.
No, combined age, they was old as the Brooklyn Bridge.
Combined age.
I'm trying to be gentle.
Without renovation and everything.
They were combined 73 years old.
Yeah.
They were 37 and 36 years old. They were both a decade
Anthony Davis
older
so you're getting
than Anthony Davis.
26-year-old Anthony Davis. And I think for all of us, and it's similar to me in a little ways of the Kawhi situation, he played 50-some-odd games last year. It wasn't because of health reasons. It wasn't because of injury. It was because of the circumstance. And I think oftentimes we're forgetting just how unbelievable of a player, how he entirely can change the complexion of a franchise, and then add him with quite possibly the best player in the game.
So that's just it. It's not just that you're getting the Anthony Davis. You're getting the Anthony Davis who happens to pair up with LeBron extremely well. Talk about how those two fit and how their game works.
I believe Anthony Davis is the future of the NBA. If you could draw up a basketball player for me, how tall would he be? What would his skill level be? Anthony Davis, it wouldn't be no small guy. It wouldn't be no wing player. No, give me a big, a guy that's got a post game, a guy that's got an intermediate game, and is not reluctant to shoot. People don't realize Anthony Davis he had a growth spurt. Man, he was a point guard. He learned how to handle the ball. That's how he can shoot the ball so good, shoots from the free throw line well. To me, this is the future NBA player. He's going to be 6'8" to 6'10" and going to be deadly from the three-point line and be able to do other things with this game. And I'm not even going to mention that he's one of the best defenders that we have in the league. This is the future of the NBA.
And one other thing you missed, he runs the floor. I mean, you want to talk about a transition game and the way in which he can also be versatile. You could play him at the 5. He likes to play the 4. LeBron, you can mix him. I mean, there's a lot of different ways in which you could put together a lineup. You need to find some shooters.
Yep.
But he brings everything to the table.
His one weakness is three-point shooting. He's 33% last year, but he was 38% on spot-up threes. He'll get a lot of spot-up threes on the pick and pop. Last year, his down year, 26, 12, and 4 with a PER of 30. The previous year, his last full season, he was 3rd in the MVP voting. His last 2 seasons combined, he was 28 points per game, 11 rebounds, and almost won Defensive Player of the Year. He is every year he's healthy, he's a top 5 MVP candidate. His last healthy year, he lost Boogie Cousins and went out and swept the Blazers in the first round in a series. He dropped 47 points in the closeout game. He's a great player. That the Lakers would have done this deal and been smart if LeBron wasn't there. With LeBron in year 17, to no doubter, and that's why they're the championship favorites.
Lakers weren't the only teams to want Anthony Davis. Sarah, stick around. Coming up, why couldn't Boston get in the Anthony Davis sweepstakes? That's next on First Things.
Because they didn't want Marcus Smart, Yabusele in the 14th pick. That's why.